welcome to today's edition. My name is Miss Jessie T. Gambanga, broadcasting live from OLDN TV studios. And joined by me today is the amazing Miss Maureen Omeibe. I hope I pronounced that well.
Mrs. Maureen, Mrs.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Mrs. Maureen, the Executive Director of Degab Groups, Nigeria, streaming live from Nigeria. If you're watching us on YouTube, don't forget to subscribe and click the notification bar below so that we can keep you posted. And also remember to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and other social media platforms. Once again, Miss Maureen, welcome to today's edition.
Thank you very much, Jessie.
Yeah, I'm honored to be having this conversation with you. So without wasting much of my time, because we have limited time already, I'm just gonna go straight into the questions that I drafted. So Miss Maureen, can you briefly tell us about yourself, the personality you hold, and what you stand for?
Thank you very much, Jessie. Over the years, I have really found it very difficult to describe who I am, because I am so versatile that sometimes it's difficult to really describe exactly what defines my personality. But I'm going to try as much as possible this morning to just say the bit I can say about myself. First and foremost, Maureen Omeibe is a strong African woman. Wow. That is interested in developing Africa, that is interested in ensuring that the development of Africa is also including the women, that women are integrated in the process of the development of Africa. That is what defines me first and foremost. So I'm a development enthusiast, and my work is at the intersection of business, women, enterprise, and public leadership. So I come out in these various areas to see how I can make my contributions to ensure that development is ongoing in these sectors. And this defines precisely all the engagements, all the projects that I have gotten involved with since I became adult. I started quite early. At the age of 22, I had started engaging in non-for-profit, in some humanitarian causes, and in some developmental projects in just these three areas I mentioned. So my career development, my vocations, and every single thing that I have getting involved in as I'm living my life is just around these three areas: women, enterprise, business, and then of course, public leadership, all centered in Africa, but of course, having connections with the global community.
Wow,
thank you.
Amazing, amazing. I'm humbled to be having this conversation with you, Miss Maureen.
Thank you.
Now we can see that you're a woman of many colors and highly involved in several projects that tend to put women in a place of value and relevance. And recently, I noticed you posted something about 20 Central African women, and were encouraging women not to throw in the towel on the project Women for Leadership. So how do women promote place of OD in leading corporate, family, and societal success?
Oh, thank you very much. This is a very good question for me this morning, because for the person I am and what I have chosen to do in life, I find it very important for people to connect with reasons why they are doing what they are doing. And talking about the African women and what I have for them in terms of reeling out highlights of what they could do to entrench organizational development in corporate entities, family, and society at large. It's a very exciting conversation, and I want to say this. I would like to tell the world, the women in the world, that organizational development is a discipline that every single woman, wherever you are or whatever thing you are involved in, should champion. Why do I say that? This is a discipline that is very gender sensible, sensitive, and gender blind.
Wow.
Organizational development is the only thing women can capitalize on to ensure that there is gender equality in corporate organizations, in families, and in society at large. Because it is a discipline that is embedded in, rather than looking at you as a person, looking at you from gender lenses, it is a discipline that is counting, focusing, and interested in the impact and influence of your presence wherever you are. Yeah. So OD is not looking at who you are, whether you are a man, whether you are a woman. It's gender blind. So organizational development will prompt the facilitation of gender equality and equity in corporate organizations. And why do I say that? If I'm a female and I'm given a responsibility, I'm given assignment, I'm given a portfolio, and I'm asked to go out there and perform, the organizational development will only gauge me. It will rate me according to what I was able to achieve, the impact of my delivery, not whether I am a man or a woman. So if this is the situation, if this is what OD is driving, why won't any woman embrace organizational development, especially the African woman? So I tell the women out there, it's a very great discipline, and unfortunately, I've not really had time to invest in bringing women, but I'm going to do it. Women, every single woman in Africa need to be interested in OD discipline. It is one discipline that I know has come to cause transformation that is going to set a new standard in corporate organizations, in families, and in societies. So I have said something about the corporate organization. I want to go to family.
Yes.
OD likes every member, every component of an ecosystem, yes, to be integrated into the system, to be engaged in the system. They want to see everybody doing something that will bring to the general success, development, and sustainability of any outfit. Now, in the family, fine, the Bible says the man is the head of the home. I'm a Christian, a devout one, and I agree with that. Yeah. But OD in the family says, yes, the man is the head of the home, but the woman is also an important part of that head. So what does that mean? As the man is taking the decisions in the family, OD discipline says the woman should also be, there should be inquiry, yes, on the woman. The woman's voice needs to be heard. Yes. Something supposed to be done in the family, the woman's voice supposed to be heard, and as well as the children. So I think OD is a democratic concept. And of course, when we are talking about democracy, when we are talking about the democratization of outfits, democratization of processes and systems in outfits, we are talking about fairness. We are talking about equity. We are talking about natural justice. Nobody is excluded. Nobody is looked down on. Nobody is allowed to do what he thinks he can do because of a position, because of a portfolio, because of a hierarchy. So OD is looking down on all of those things and maintaining interest on impact, real impact, evidence-based impact, real reflections, and then the evidence-based transformation of what you are doing, what you are delivering, your roles, your responsibilities, and your function. So for women to be able to do, to get, the agitation about equality could just be solved by ensuring that organizational development principles are enshrined in the governance of organizations. And to start with, I want to highlight it one after the other. The number one thing is that for a woman to be able to drive, yes, with organizational development principles, number one, the woman should be able to understand what the principle says. Yes. What is it that the principles are embedded in? That understanding is first step for all the women. Yes. The second step is, if you have understood it and you are honest with yourself as a woman leader or a leader that is in anywhere you find yourself, the next thing is let it be incorporated in your corporate governance. Organizations have corporate governance. Families have corporate governance. In my home, of course, there are certain rules and regulations that guide how things are done and affect how things are done and how my relationship with my husband, my children, and every other person at the home should be conducted or should be. So that's also corporate governance. So enshrine it in your corporate governance. When you do that, the next step is this. Remember, the best laws does not bring the best result. The best rules and regulations does not bring the best result. What does bring the best result is implementation. Implementation, ensuring that what your corporate governance is saying, what your corporate governance has stipulated is what is in practice. So how do you transfer what has been integrated, what has been enshrined in your corporate governance to practice? Now we go to operational policies. How do you ensure that people, the members of your organizations, every members of your organization, the entire ecosystem of your organization is practicing organizational development and leadership? Now, if you enshrine it in your operational policies, then the next thing you will now do as a woman out there is begin to compensate, begin to promote it, begin visions. And it is blind to hierarchies. Whoever you are, from the CEO down to the director, from the CEO down to the hygiene officer, everybody is subjected to that same rule. So that is that. Then, what again do a woman need to do? You don't just stop either in your organizations, in your home, on the circle of your community. You go out. You go out. There is a saying that if you want a global relevance, you must ensure that your community relevance is established. So you go beyond just where you are and ensure that what you have been doing in your circle of influence, take it further. By ensuring that what you know, what you're doing in your circle of influence, that another woman is taking from you to continue in that direction. Because by and large, I have been competing and debating this subject with so many operators in my sector, because we are overtly focused on profitability. Every company, every organization, we want to make profit. Yeah. And so when you're talking about the principles of organizational development, they don't seem to just quickly buy the concept. Because when you are telling a CEO, for instance, that you need to take, you're going to make a decision about pricing of your products, can you allow, for instance, your general marketing, your general manager sales to make that decision? What is the CEO looking at? Is typically looking at what he intends to get, what is going to be the balance sheet status, what is going to be what is going to be returning to his shareholders. That is return on investment. So people don't always think that organizational development leads to profitability. Yeah. Initially, I also believed so. Initially, I also held that perception, but I am beginning to open my mind to accept that, yes, it may not bring profitability in the short term, but in the long run, yes, it will. Because we are talking about developing your company. We're talking about developing your organization in such a way that it is going to live after you. It is going to live from generation to generation. And then people need to just begin to think of what you have started and where it is going. It is not just about you, the founder of the organization or the leader in the organization. So thank you. I hope I provided a few questions that few answers that satisfies your question.
Yeah, indeed, I'm satisfied. Thank you so much, ma'am. Because of our limited time, we're just gonna talk about Degab. So would you tell us the acronym for Degab and briefly take us down the memory lane?
Thank you very much. All right. First and foremost, Degab has two different acronyms. The number one is that that name, Degab, was coined from the name of our founder, whose name is Sir Gabriel Omeibe. The GAB attached to the company, the Degab Group, is his name that found his space there. That was the name that he grew up with as a very young apprentice in an industry where he served after school. He was very exceptional, very exceptional. He distinguished himself from a lot of other people that he worked with at that point in time, and later became a general manager of that industry, Joboson Industries Limited. That was the name they gave him from that company. And then when he came out to establish his own, when the company exited the Nigerian, when the company was about exiting the Nigerian market, it was also an automotive company, but also had an arm in textiles. But when they were exiting the company, he was also planning to establish his own. So D is distinguished entrepreneur. D for distinguished, E for entrepreneur. That is the name, GAB is the name. Now, when he started the business, he took off with Degab commercial stores and of course Degab Motors. Many people don't know in Nigeria, but Degab Motors and Degab commercial store actually took off at the same time.
Wow.
He had already had in mind, yes, of having Degab Motors. So he started Degab commercial stores, just a solely sub-automobile marketing and storage company. It was just marketing, leading motorcycles established and have assembly here. So, but along the line, as the business was growing, that same DEGAB formed another acronym. And it all comes from the values of the business. So we have diligence, we have excellence, we have gratitude, as in G, we have attitude, and then we have bravery.
Wow, wow.
These are the things that have driven the Degab Group. So the two acronyms till today stands very strong in the culture plate of the Degab Groups. So when we talk about his name, we talk about things that define his values. For some of us who joined the organization along the line, we came in, we asked the same question which you are asking me today, and we all got to know the history, the origin of that name. And I mean, it fell into place because that is exactly what we are. We are diligent. We are excellent in anything we are doing. We have gratitude because every single year we have a special way we appreciate everybody that had contributed, even if our relationship with you was about 30, 20, 15, 10 years ago. There is a place we will get to find you wherever you are and send our gratitude for being part of the Degab Group journey. And then, our attitude also, it makes a lot of difference. Is Jesse about the Degab acronym.
All right, okay, there was a network problem, so I didn't hear clearly when you were talking about bravery. So can you kindly repeat what you're saying on bravery?
Okay, all right. What I'm saying is those acronyms, we take it very serious.
Yes.
And every single thing that is represented by those letters is incorporated in the organizational values of the Degab Group. Whatever we do, we are diligent, all we have had, and I want to believe what have propelled our survival in difficult times is our diligence. We commit to work and we keep working.
Okay.
Every single promise we make out there for the customers, we ensure is fulfilled, whether our own end is good or is not good.
Okay.
So we are diligent, we are excellent, especially with our products, especially with our products. We make sure that we weren't focusing much on having margins in our products. We weren't focusing much on margins. We were focusing on satisfying the needs of our customers in terms of quality and durability. So I think if you rate corporate motorcycles in Nigeria, that is motorcycles that are used for corporate purposes, for courier, for logistics, for dispatch, delivery, that is our niche, because we weren't into commercial motorcycles much.
Okay.
So we have a market that is well segmented.
Okay.
And we ensure that our products are matching their needs.
Wow.
So we commit strongly to ensuring that the promise we make to customers, we bring it to bear. Now, talking about gratitude, I've mentioned, I believe you heard what I said about gratitude, and then I believe you heard what I said about attitude of resilience. Whatever that happens around us, we do not go down. We must find a way to keep going, because we haven't gotten to where we want to get to. And stopping the journey cannot be an option for the group. So we keep going, irrespective of what is happening in the environment. Like after the COVID-19, and before the COVID-19, there was a very harsh policy that came down on people operating our soft sector. And a lot of people shut down. So many people have closed, and some investors that came into Nigeria, they shut down and they had gone.
Okay.
But you see, some of those companies, as they are going, who are they approaching to buy back their product is Degab Group.
Okay.
Do you understand? Because all of them knows what we are in the industry. So except God himself, we will not be out of business. We'll continue. It is not always very rosy. It's not always easy. Sometimes we have to do the impossible just to keep running. So that is it. That's how brave we are. And of course, we take on challenges. We are always ready to take on challenges. So these are the key values that the organization have as an entity.
That's great. I'm actually inspired right now. So recordings and findings reviewed, Degab was instrumental to the arrival and growth of several three-wheeler manufacturers in Nigeria, but we haven't witnessed Degab tricycle in circulation. Any reason behind that?
Thank you very much, Ms. Jessie. As a matter of fact, we have been asked this question several times. Yes, that's true. Number one, clarity I would like to provide the public, the African public, is that the Degab tricycle is not, developed for commercial transportation. The Degab tricycle is a multi-purpose truck tricycle. It is made typically for mobility of businesses. That is, people that want to use the product to sell their goods and services. So we call our tricycle, at the time it was in the market, we call it the kiosk. Because you use it, you put your ice cream basin inside it, or you use it, you put your small provisions inside it, and you drive within the city to sell. That is what the product is modeled for.
Okay.
Now, the first batch of product that the group took in, we realized that we are selling more at the eastern parts of the country, and our factory was located in Lagos State, Nigeria. So we had to have a rethink and know what we have to do to launch a factory in the eastern part of the country. Rather than launching here, using the factory that we currently have and then finding it another difficult task, moving the products. We started for a while, but after a while, we realized that we weren't making it. We needed to go back to the drawing board and find what to do. And we were just in the verge of securing another technical partnership with a company in China to go down the east and establish that factory before we first of all suffered the policy of the federal government, first and foremost, before this of Lagos State. There began to be restrictions on the use and movement of these products in town. At a time, we thought of coming back to how we started, but it was already late because other products had already gotten deep into the Lagos market. And then it's going to be a tough decision and a whole lot for the company to do if we just have to launch in again in the Lagos market. So we are continuing to bring in trucks now for movement of agricultural products from one point to the other. But we are not having plan in any way of using our tricycle, of making tricycle that is just used for transportation. We are agricultural prone and trade prone. Our product is trade and agricultural focused. So even in the near future, when we decide to go ahead and launch a factory, a multi-purpose factory in this choice area, we are still going to do the same because that is where our focus is. But do not forget that the Degab Group is not just a tricycle and motorcycle assembler. We are also a tricycle and motorcycle marketing company. Therefore, we have never really gotten away from other tricycles used for transportation because that is what the Degab commercial store does. Do you understand? So the Degab commercial store, till as I'm speaking with you now, still have in our warehouse products that is used for transportation. Tricycle used for transportation, motorcycle used for transportation. But though they have been banned, the restriction have been placed on them, we are still having them to sell. But our focus has always been in our own brand. The Degab brand have always been about corporate mobility.
Okay. Considering that the Lagos state government banned the use of commercial motorcycles, the Okadas, what worries you about what's ahead?
Thank you very much. I don't know. I will have something to say. If you remember what I talked to you about the values for the organization, the group, I talked about attitude of resilience. I talked about attitude. Our attitude to this business is that there will always be a way out. There must always be a way out. Our business model was in assembly and then marketing of these products. And then, of course, at a point in time years ago, we introduced the logistics arm just to be sure that we are also managing our entire logistic needs of the group and other people that would like to use the logistics group. The number one thing we did when the policy came to effect was to make a decision not to invest money in buying any automobile, sub-automobile that is meant to be used for transportation. The few that we just had to buy to satisfy existing customers, we continue just to service the customers. But we did not continue to procure goods or to keep spending money in marketing the products that has already been banned. Also, we did not want to look into other markets outside Lagos because there is something we also always do in the group. We try to see ahead. We try to forecast what the future looks like in the industry that we find ourselves. We know that our government policies has not been very consistent it has always been a little bit volatile. We took a decision to step down marketing of automobile product that is used for transportation. But in the other side of the coin, we also took a decision to escalate our marketing activities on those products that are not meant for commercial transportation. So you see us investing money in marketing the products that is used by courier companies. We didn't, we weren't doing that prior, So, and then again, we knew that we have market not just in Lagos, not just in Nigeria. We knew that other companies, even outside Nigeria, buys our products to do their delivery services. So we focused our attention on that one. At least as at now, there is no restriction. As long as you effect all the registration stipulated by the government agencies, there is no problem around that one. So we escalated our marketing activities. We became more aggressive in marketing those, lines of products. So what did we do again? Of course, we had to invite our customers from all the various locations. And we had to have a heart-to-heart conversation on what has happened and what is going to happen. And we didn't get the interest of all of them, yes, but at least we got at least about 60% interest on them still remaining loyal and buying the substitute products. And apart from what I've just explained, escalation of our marketing, activities, changing of our strategies, deploying technological means in reaching customers, because of course now we know that our market is only focused on corporate customers. So products. Unlike the customers that are coming for products that are used for commercial services, most of them are walk-in customers. They come by themselves, or they call you on phone and say, okay, I made payment, let your truck deliver so and so units. Of course, we also have our sub-dealers and dealers, that we use as our distribution, routes. So what we did was to also introduce other products. And that is how we decided to introduce commodities into our line of products. As at 2018, because of where we are doing businesses before, whenever we drop products in those places, sometimes our truck, they don't want to come back empty. They just said, okay, let me just take something. And through that means they have been bringing in various commodities like rice, like milk, like, oil, just to come back to Nigeria. So what we did was, okay, fine, these are things we have been doing on the sideline that is not main, product that Degab Groups were trading, Degab commercial stores were trading on. Because the policy hits Degab commercial stores most. Because Degab commercial stores is the arm, the subsidiary of the group that is marketing the 2- and 3-wheelers products meant for commercial purposes. They market corporate products too, but they are mainly marketing, this one. That is where they have massive customers, especially in Lagos. So we introduced commodities in our line of products, and so far so good, because we are doing in large quantities. It has been helping us, to substitute the 2- and 3-wheelers meant for commercial transportation. And we are finding other ways also, to close up the market share that was lost as a result of the policy. So these are the things we did. We interacted, heart-to-heart interaction with our, customers beyond Nigeria, and then introduction of a new line of products, and of course, escalation of, our marketing activities in the other, arm of our products, to satisfy our corporate customers, more. So that's what we did, and that's what has been, keeping us going. And of course, we also decided to go back and look at what we have done with the Degab Motors. The Degab Motors, like I told you before, it started with the Degab Commercial Store. As a matter of fact, the two companies was registered on the same day, Degab Commercial Stores and Degab Motors. But what we have done was to just silently, be running importation of vehicles and then distributing just silent. We did not just want to start, projecting it as also an arm of the group. But as it stands now, where we have now developed interest and we have made commitment to also establish another plant for motor vehicles, we are bringing it back in full force. And we started 2018. So we are already picking up, in commuter commercial motor vehicles. We already have vehicles in the market, for commercial purposes.
Excellent.
Yes.
Excellent. I like that. You're not only focusing on one thing, you're also focusing on commodities, and also I love your attitude of resilience. And I also like that you're a Christian. The Bible says everything works together for the good of those who love God. And surely everything will always work out.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. So we know that automobile industry.
Thank you, Jesse.
Yeah. So we know that automobile industry is regarded in any economy as a major instrument for technological and social economic development. What has the industry in Nigeria done so far in line with promoting technological and social economic development?
All right. Thank you very much. When it comes to the contribution of automobile in the Nigerian economic growth and development, I would always like to emphasize, because a lot of people do not know this. It is, I would say it is effort in futility to begin to assess the contribution of a sector that is just floating. You know what I mean, Ms. Jessie?
Mm.
The Nigerian automobile industry is floating. Okay. And I say this with every sense of responsibilities. And for the purpose of this interview, and because I would like the rest of African nations, Nigeria is the giant of Africa. Nigeria has the largest economy in Africa. I would like, because I'm a Nigerian and have been in this industry, I have been in this in this country running business going to 15 years, if not more. Now, if anybody is coming out with some sort of statistics at the moment as to determine what the contribution of the automobile industry is in Nigeria, I will not say that such statistic is reliable. It is not reliable. But I must give information for the purpose of this interview. As at the time that Nigeria had what I can call a booming and a boisterous automobile industry, I can say that they were contributing over 40% to the GDP of the Nigerian economy. And that was around 80s at the time that I was still, nowhere.
Yeah.
So at that time, I would like to go back to that history. At that time, we have 4 major automobile industries that was established in Nigeria. All of them major, automobile assembly, manufacturing and assembly plants. We have Ashok Leyland in Ibadan. We have Anamco in Enugu, my own state. We have Fiat Auto in Kano. We have Isuzu, we have Volkswagen. But the question I would like to ask all Nigerian government, and of course other governments in Africa, what is happening to the auto industry in Africa? So what we have in Nigeria was the glory of yesteryears. Then one can say that this is what contribution the automobile industry is making. And that is what brought some of us back to the industry. We know the great potential that this industry has for the development of our economy and of course other sub-Saharan African economies. Nigeria still remains at the position of an emerging economy. So what does that tell us? What is it as an emerging economy do we need to understand, do we need to do to ensure that the automobile industry comes up? Because it is one major, just like your question has stated, is one major area, is one major sector of an economy that can really catalyze the growth and development of a nation. But why am I sounding this way? Because the research we just did a few months ago is showing 0.08% contribution to, to the Nigerian GDP. That is appalling, and we are dissatisfied. Those of us that find ourselves in the industry, we are dissatisfied. Not because the operators, the investors, the business owners are not doing their bits. So what I'm saying now is, I would like to focus my attention on the potentials of the automobile industry, because as I speak to you, what we are having in Nigeria today is mostly, as mere assembly plants, where people bring in components and assemble. But that will not grow the automobile industry. That will not empower them to make significant contribution. We want to see Nigeria, Mrs. Maureen Omeibe, want to see Nigeria having an established, a boisterous, and a fantastic automobile industry where there is manufacturers of components at the backyard of your assembly plant, where there is massive value chain distribution and production, because the assembly plants are viable, they are moving. As at 1881, think about the figure I gave you, 14%, assuming it continued to grow from that point. By this time, we'll be talking about that sector alone, that industry alone, contributing something in the figure of 30 to 35% to our national GDP. Now, when we are talking about automobile companies, contribution to the national economy, to the growth and development, talking about technology and all of, what do we mean? If I establish a plant today and I run that plant for about 5 years, I'm going to look for new technology to bring in. Because of course, the essence of the lean manufacturing practice is for you to be able to look at how to make your operations seamless, more cost effective, and of course, speedy to have speedy delivery constraints, removed. So if I run for like 5 years, like we did in the Degab motorcycle assembly plant, you run for some years, you look for other, equipment, machines, the newer ones, the more current versions to bring in. But what is happening? So a company who set up, and then after 5 years, instead of the company, or maybe after 8 years, or maybe after 10 years, the company is no more. Will he request for more technological importation? There won't be anything like that, because first and foremost, the plants have to break even. The plant has to break even for continuity, for it to continue to operate. If they record deficit year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4, year 5, and after year 5, where it is expected that they will start breaking even, they are still recording deficit. And let me let you know what happened. In all these companies I mentioned, our government then had stake in these companies, about 30% stake is what they have in about 4 companies, which is Peugeot Nigeria, Anamco, Volkswagen, and I think Ashok Leyland, yes. There was a stake, the government had stakes in these companies. And what happened? When the company began to operate, there were divergent issues that were coming up that were never treated. And the company continued to run and run and run. And what were those issues? There was low local patronage. There was still, at some point, of course, at some point, around 1985, coming up, there was serious influx of fairly used vehicles into the country. And when that happens, the indigenous, the local manufacturers cannot survive. Those are part of the issues. So, and as I'm speaking with you, why I don't want to say I am assessing, but to tell you the truth, automobile industry in Nigeria have great potential. I speak because I look at what is happening. Nigeria is over 200 million individuals that is moving on Nigeria road every day. These 2 million individuals are just persons. What about agricultural produce? Movement of agricultural produce from one place to the other. What about the border movement? What does this? Automobile does this. So, but what we have found out is that the real indigenous manufacturers are very, very few. Very few. As I'm speaking with you, because those ones, no matter what they do, it will be very, very significant. And that's why we're having 0.08.
Okay, okay.
So that's the situation, Jesse. But there is a serious hope. There is serious hope. South Africa is doing well. At least they have, as of 2019 or 2018, I think they are having up to 40% contribution of the automobile industry to their economy. And unless we become viable, unless we have manufacturers on the ground doing the manufacturing. I'm not talking about importing vehicles, because of course a lot of manufacturers now have to resort to importation of products, new products, and you can't just not blame them, because the policy on ground has not been able to regulate the market in such a way that there will be comfort, there will be objectivity for persons that want to invest in the industry. But of course, for some of us, we want to come back. We want to start it the right way, because we are fearless. The Degab Group, we are fearless, and we are going back. We want to join the few on ground to do it the right way. We want to see that components are being manufactured here, because that is what we promote, the local content, policy of our federal government. And of course, every individual assembling automobile, manufacturing automobile, must be ready to contribute.
Yes.
What is the contribution? You have to have massive employment generation created. Mm-hmm. You have to have imports of technologies as they are coming out, you are bringing them in. Of course, you have to, facilitate the transfer of skills on how to manage these technologies into your own people where you are operating. And of course, you pay government taxation, you pay your taxes. So all these things are what ordinarily are supposed to be our contributions. But when you are not functioning, when it is only, if instead of us to be counted in number 20, 30, 40, we are being counted, we are below 10. Okay. That is having a fully recognized, assembly, manufacturing and assembly plant in Nigeria.
Yeah. Indeed, it's so sad that the industry's contribution has declined to such a percentage, 0.08%. But we can see from the look of things that the industry has got potential. Every individual has to play a role in promoting economic development, and I'm glad that Degab Groups is working very hard in creating such a change. So yeah. because of our limited time, I wish I could go on and on asking more questions. But for today, we end here. Ma'am, thank you so much. I'm honored and humbled to be having a conversation with you. It was really an honor. And I'm so happy. Thank you, everyone, for watching. If you're watching us on YouTube, don't forget to click the subscribe button and the notification button so that we keep you posted. And also, don't forget to follow us on Facebook and Instagram. And if you are a new member and if you happen to be new and you want to join our organization, don't forget to visit our website, that is www.centerold.com. Our values are excellence, respect, integrity, professionalism, continuous development, and our mission is COLD and is we exist to move organizations, individuals, and work teams up the ladder of growth through education, training, restructuring, or re-engineering corporations. We are an organization that facilitates effective knowledge transfer to improve plans, processes, people and performance in organizations. We endeavor to offer academic courses that are relevant and transformational through our competence-based curriculum. Once again, thank you for your time. It was an honor having this conversation with you, Ms. Maureen.
Thank you very much, Jesse. I am honored. I'm glad to have had opportunity of speaking, to you on this program. Thank you very much, and you are doing very great. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am.